Hi, I'm Amy Howard, and in this video today I'm going to show you one of the most exciting processes that you're going to learn about adding detail of gilding to your pieces of furniture that you're rescuing and restoring. So you'll notice on this little chair here, it's done in a Bauhaus buff color of using our Toscana paint finishes. But on the little details where the embellishments, you see how it's literally been transformed by adding gilded details. On this torchère that's about an 18th century Italian piece that would have come out of a church, has a beautiful silver leaf gilding on it. So some people might call me a purist. I do love to actually use gold leaf when I'm going to be adding details and accents on a piece instead of gold paint. So you'll notice gold leaf is going to come in sheets like this, and it has tissue in between it. So that's why we call it a book, and it has a binding on it. We want to be able to keep that in place. Depending on the size of the detail of gilding that you're going to be using, you're going to cut this piece to be able to be that size. That way we don't have as much waste. On a larger piece like this, I may actually use the entire piece of gold leaf or silver leaf, depending on what it is. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to decide where my leaf is going to go. So on this trim piece again, because you know I love working on trim pieces and deciding what my finish and my look is going to look like at the end, I'm going to decide that I want it to be at this little area up here and down here. It's just an accent. So when you look at percentage, like on this chair, it's about a 10%. It's not about doing too much. It's always meaning of less is more. It's just for a little detail. So I'm going to take just a regular masking tape. I'm going to put it here on my trim piece. Put it around on the sides. So I'm going to take the butt of my brush and I'm going to just press it. It's actually called burnishing down into the crevice here, because this is going to make it easier that my boule and my size are not going to bleed onto the area that I don't want them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my boule. You'll notice a lot of times when you look at gold leaf, you'll see this red underneath here. This is actually Armenian clay. It was clay that was used and mixed with fish gelatin to be able to act as an adhesive when they laid the gold leaf down so it would stick. So we've made this process a little easier for you. You can pop the can open and you've got your boule and you're ready to go. So I'm going to dip my artist brush into it. I want to make sure that it's loaded well. And I'm going to get a nice, good 100% coverage on where my leaf is going to actually be laid. And you know what? I've decided I want to do the other side as well. So I'm going to come back with my tape. I'll lay it down. I just want this little detail done. I'm going to burnish it again. Take my boule, lay it down. Then I'm going to allow this, it is water-based so I can clean with water. I'm going to allow this to dry for about 20 or 30 minutes and then I'm ready for my size. The Amy Howard at Home line has an easy-to-use size. It's spelled S-I-Z-E. It comes in a white color, but it dries to a translucent color. But when you're putting it on, because it's white, it allows you to be able to see it. So in the same way as I applied my boule, in long, clean strokes, I want to make sure that I get the size over the entire area of where my leaf is going to lay. If I don't get the size covered over the boule, guess what's going to happen? The leaf is not going to adhere. The only area that it's going to adhere is going to be where the size has gone. The cool thing about the size is if you're working on a large piece, you may come in and do all of the detail of the size over your boule on the base of this chair. You're going to have about 30 to 40 minutes to be able to work on it and have what we call tack. When it dries about 15 minutes, you have tack. That tack is where it's going to be pulled just a little bit. It's not ready to lay the leaf down right when you've laid this size down. It's got to dry for about 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm going to take my leaf, because you see the area that I'm going to be gilding here is very small. I don't need this whole sheet. So I'm guesstimating about 1 inch. I'm going to cut it just a little bit over that. That way I don't have too much waste. Set that aside. And as I'm holding it, I do want to make sure that I'm working in an area that doesn't have a breeze. That's why it's best not to gild outside. And you'll see how I'm going to open it up. I'm going to take my left hand and hold it on the side like this, and because the tissue is folded, that allows me to be able to hold both of them without it flying away. So in one swift action, I'm going to lay it down. With my right hand, I'm going to pull the tissue up, lay it across, lay it to my side like that. Holding with my left hand the whole time, as I'm reading the book again, from left to right, I'm going to burnish it like this. Pull it up. Here I've got my tissue protecting the sheet of gold. Holding it over, holding it with my left hand. You see I'm going to overlap this area here because I don't want to butt it up. Now if there's a little area that it didn't stick, I'm going to come back, lay my leaf over it again, and burnish it. And I'm going to do my other side. See how I'm laying off to the side just a little bit, where my piece would actually be on the edge of it. And you'll see, because I get size on my fingers, it'll start to stick to that as well. I'm going to take one of my pieces of tissue and I'm going to lay it back on top of my leaf after I've laid it down, and I want to burnish it just a little bit more. If you get some cracks in your gilding, that's perfectly all right. If you're going to come back and actually make it look old and wear it just a little bit with steel wool like I am on this piece, you can leave it like that. If you want it to be more perfect, by all means come back and do another pass of your gold leaf. Then I'm going to take a clean China bristle brush, and from left to right primarily, I'm going to try to clean it and get all of the loose leaf off. And I'm going to come back with take my tape off. It's really fun when you start to expose yourself to adding different elements of embellishments to your pieces. It really opens up a whole new world. Because let's say you have a little piece and it's very flat and it doesn't have a lot of detail to it. You can come back in and tape around it to be able to create a box within a box. So maybe I might create a 2-inch striping on the drawer of a piece and then come inside that with some pin striping, and it's all just done with my tape. You see already how this has transformed this little black piece of trim. So now I want to be able to come back with some 4/0 steel wool. I'm just going to lightly burnish it. And the reason for this is I want to be able to show some wear that would have taken place over a period of time. You'll notice on this particular little chair that I had gold leafed. See how just here and there, maybe I'll come down to the stained wood. Maybe I'm just bringing some of the bull through, but it just sets it back. It's not too bright, it's not too shiny. It's giving us the idea that maybe this piece has been cherished for 100 years or so. So that way when I've come back, you see very soft details of the bull showing through. So at this stage of the process, we're going to add our waxes. What this does is it will allow us to set back the gold again, and it's also going to allow me to be able to add my dust of ages. A lot of people say, do I have to wax my piece? Absolutely not. The great thing about the one step is that you don't have to wax it, and you can use it and enjoy that beautiful matte finish. But if I want to be able to antique it, I am going to wax it. So I'm going to come back with my clear wax. I'm going to offload it. I want to make sure that it's evenly distributed throughout my brush, and that I am going to do 100% coverage. And I am going to come on top of my gold leaf. When you're working on a piece of furniture, you do want your light antique wax to dry for about 20 minutes. That way when you add your dark wax, you're not making a third wax. We don't want it to be greasy. We want it to come to what we call a tack. Perfect. So now I'm going to take my dark wax, very, very little. I'm offloading it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come back on top of my gold. See how that gold is being set back now, and it's made to look as if it's a little older, it's warmer. I'll pounce it a little bit, and then I'll come back and I'll feather it. I don't want it to look like it's modelly with this brush. I want it to look very refined and very soft. The black is not going to hold the dark color as much, but I just want to kind of highlight it. Now, a lot of people will say, can I wax it and then come back to it tomorrow and add my dust of ages? Absolutely not. I need there to be some form of tack, not greasy, but tack, because that's what's going to hold the dust of ages in the crevices. So I'm going to come back with a liberal application of dust. And then with a lint-free rag, I'm going to come back like I'm buffing a shoe, just on the highlighted areas, and get a little bit of a sheen. We call this our patina. So you'll see how it's dead down in the crevices, and we've got a really pretty shine on my raised areas. This would be an amazing finish on kitchen cabinets, to be able to do our detailing in my gold leaf. Just have a nice simple finish. It's easy to take care of. Beautiful. So now you see how easy it is to be able to transform a piece. You're starting to use your gold leaf. You can actually come back in and gold leaf an entire piece. You can do finials. You can do all kinds of pieces of furniture or torchieres or little details of things all around your house, and you get to enjoy the bragging rights.